Thank you all for joining. We have a pretty exciting webinar ahead of us in which we'll talk about how mapping applications are, can, should be a crucial part of your vegetation management solution. My name is Igor, and I'm a business development manager here at GIS Cloud. And here with me is Antonia as well. Hi, Antonia.
Hi, Igor. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in. I'm certain that you're all quite excited to see what we have in store for you today. So, Igor, maybe we can directly go and if you can walk us through the agenda for today's session.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Okay, so for today, we'll first give you a short introduction about who we are, what exactly do we do, and how our existing customers are already utilizing GIS Cloud, of course, for the purpose of maintaining their green assets. But I think the biggest part of this webinar will be an actual live demo. I think this is the one that we are all looking forward most. So yeah, definitely the biggest part of this webinar will be a live demo, so you can see it in action, so you can see how this actually looks and can look for you guys as well. Okay, so let's get started. First, who are we? So we've started more than a decade ago when actually no one thought about having mapping tools in the cloud. And back then, giscloud.com domain was a free one. So you could say that we were definitely one of the first, if not the first company that introduced mapping in the cloud. And since then, we had a pleasure of working with customers all over the world from different industries that helped us get to where we are now. But where does the vegetation management come in place? So considering that we've been working with all types of customers, we actually noticed that a lot of companies that deal with green assets, especially with trees, have started utilizing GIS Cloud for addressing their challenges that they have. Naturally, of course, we immediately reached out to them to understand better what kind of solution were they actually looking for, what kind of challenges do they have, and how they solve them with our tools. So today it's been, I believe, like over 7 years now since we started working closely with these types of customers. And you could say that in addition to being GIS and cloud experts, we've grown our knowledge in vegetation management sector as well. This is not our first webinar regarding vegetation management. We have plenty, and you can find those on our website and other channels as well. Okay, so who are actually our customers? Well, over the years, we've learned that we work with 3 types of customers. Ones that still use paper, unfortunately, companies that are using off-the-shelf products, and then we have companies that have resources to build their own tool that fits their exact requirements. Each of these groups, they have their own challenges they need to address. So for example, companies that build their own tool need to spend a lot of resources to build something, and then of course maintain it as well, to make sure that it follows recent trends. This is actually something that we do on a daily basis, right? Well, as we all know, apps can become outdated really fast, and that costs money. So that said, if you have the means to build and maintain your own application, you definitely have a tool specifically built for your needs. However, even in those cases, these types of tools are often more complex, and they're built for larger projects. At least this is what we've learned from our existing customers that have built their own tools. So they still can't replace the need for a quick, lightweight tool that helps them build quick projects and have data ready in a matter of hours, something that you'll see we'll do today on live demo. So for that purpose, we've learned that off-the-shelf products will always be needed, even if you already have a tool built internally, as you can use it for those, as I mentioned, quick ad hoc projects, and are often more simple and intuitive for non-GIS people, for people that don't necessarily understand mapping. Only everything they use is basically Google Maps, etc., right? So as we see it, the best solution today is a hybrid one between the a proprietary technology and off-the-shelf product, in a way that you build on top of a platform that enables you to build your own custom tools and address your custom requirements. We would like to learn more about who you actually are. So there's a quick poll, if we can ask you that. So we want to ask you, what do you currently use? We will give you the results. And there are 4 options. If you use paper, choose paper. If you use off-the-shelf product, or if you have built your own tool, or if you don't have any tool at all, or if you don't use and collect data, let us know. Let's take maybe a couple more seconds. And then, of course, we'll explain the most, obvious reasons why you actually shouldn't use paper as well. Okay, 60% voted. Let's see. It's good to see a lot of you actually joining and being engaged. Okay, we can close the poll. Of course, we'll be in touch after the webinar as well. So close the poll. So you can see that a lot of you still use paper forms, or you don't actually collect data in any way yet. And this is something that we've learned over the years, that this is the case with a lot of companies, and that's what we do. We help them understand why the digitalization process is a lot better, and why they should move from paper to digital. Actually, Antonia has been working with a lot of companies in the past who had the same problem. So Antonia, can you share more insight on what you think are the benefits of switching from paper to digital?
Yeah, definitely. So as we can see from the survey, there is still a lot of you who are using paper forms and maps in your work. I'm sure that you can agree that it can fast become too time consuming, from taking the time for you to prepare everything prior to the field work. And if you are in need of digitizing everything for better analysis and future planning, you are basically doing the same work twice. This can also lead to inconsistency in your data, since it's open to errors while you are actually retyping everything manually. Not to mention that you are not receiving the data live, meaning that if you don't have a real-time insight to the work being done, that can cause real issues. With going digital, you are not just saving trees, you are improving your work, you are saving important time in planning and analyzing, and you are receiving better data quality. And if you are worried that it will take a lot of time for you to switch from paper to digital, well, for that we have that demo coming up. You will see how easy it actually is. And if you still have concerns later on, don't worry, we do have a qualified team here to help you every step of the way. Igor, if you can maybe turn off the poll and switch to the presentation. Yeah, so as I was saying, you don't have any kind of manual work. You save the time with preparing everything in advance. You monitor your data coming through easily. That results in really better quality of your data. And of course, it saves you the money. So with that in mind, we can go to the next slide. Because when it comes to the vegetation management, based on our experience and with the help of our clients, we were actually able to classify 4 main categories of the vegetation management. And the first one is being registration, inspection, and maintenance. This workflow covers everything from tree maintenance to risk assessment. So what do we mean by that? You know that it's not enough to plant a tree and hope that it will grow nice and healthy. Trees have their own life cycle, and you need to make sure to provide them with what they need during that cycle, and you need to have a proper tool to monitor all that. Also, it's important to identify any potential diseases that can spread to other trees, and it's important to react on time to stop any kind of spreading of the disease. Let's say that you have an area in charge that you are maintaining, and with the help of our tools, you can actually be proactive. You can go out in the field and identify potential work sites and inform your clients about potential risks to get the things in motion. That definitely comes in handy when we are talking about any kind of risk assessment where you need to react fast to avoid any kind of bigger issues on site. For example, the tree is not in a good condition and it's threatening to fall over the power lines. With proper monitoring of that kind of tree and the type of the condition that they are in, you can actually predict certain issues and avoid them from happening. Back to you, Igor.
Mhm. Yeah, these are great examples, and everything that Tony just mentioned is something that our customers are already doing with our tool. Another big segment, and how our products are utilized in vegetation management is definitely operational visibility and coordination. This is also important because this provides your field crews with up-to-date needed information that save them time and money. Simply by understanding when something needs to be done, who has to do it, what kind of equipment and materials they need, helps them plan and coordinate better, which saves a lot of time. We all know that. And in addition to that, you can enable your field crews with additional information like how to get to the specific location. Do they need to avoid any restricted areas? Huge thing for one of our clients. How to orient themselves at the actual site. For example, where to park, what entrance to the property they must take. Do they have the permits to close a part of the road, to dig a hole, etc. So all that information, everything is available to them in one single place and on the map, which we all agree is really intuitive, right? Also, another big thing is client enablement and satisfaction. So what we've learned is that this part of the solution actually helped our customers win new deals and tenders because they've provided their customers, their own customers, with extra technology for their clients to review, the job that has been done, help them generate, for example, reports, or even report new jobs that need to be done. So in a way, that part of the solution can become a new revenue channel because it enables your customers to give you feedback, but also report new things that need to be addressed. So definitely one huge part of the whole solution, and we'll show you how this actually looks like in a live demo. And the last but not least is to make more sense out of the data that you've gathered, so you can do some analysis and make relevant conclusions like tree coverage percentage in a specific area, impact it has on the climate in microregion, shade analysis, or a lot of our customers use this for future planning and budgeting, according to recent urban development, and etc. And we'll show an example of that as well. These are the applications that we'll show you today in that live demo. Today we'll see mole data collection. We'll show you the MapEdit application and these apps for sharing private apps. But all these products combined together build or give you a complete solution for all these use cases that we've just explained. Antonia, are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope that our attendees are ready as well.
Absolutely. It's always hard to see how the application will work when you have demonstrations, but we're definitely confident that you'll see how the application is fast and how things work and what you can do with it. What we've done is we've segmented the live demo in 3 different groups or segments. The first being in the first segment, we'll show you how this can actually look like for you guys when you get started. So when you create an account, what can you actually expect from the tool in those first days, right? Then in the second segment, we'll give you an idea of what you can actually expect after a couple of months of using the tool, what kind of use cases you can address, right? And then in the third segment, we'll show you how can this become really advanced or even complex if you want it to become complex, right? Okay, so let's start with the first segment. What we'd like to do is how this looks like for you guys when you decide to test this. You can go to our website, you can create an account or simply log in. It's worth noting that there's a premium trial, 14-day premium trial. We enable you to test it properly before you make any decisions, so you can have an educated decision on whether you want to purchase it or not. We are confident that you'll find value in it, so we don't have any commitments in terms of you need to put your credit cards and like that. It's completely free. Just test it out, and we're confident that you'll find it useful. So when you go to our website, create an account, you will log in. I'll now log in with my Morgan Treeman, funny name account. And as soon as you log in, you'll be greeted with the message whether you want to create your own maps or do you want to collect, inspect, and create your data collection project. We'll start with this one first, just to show you how you can quickly build your custom form and then have people collect data for you in the field in a matter of minutes. A lot of you mentioned that you don't use anything yet, or that you're using paper forms. This is the part that will show you the way, right? Okay, when you first log in, you will see a couple of steps that you should make. It's really straightforward. Let's click on create new project. Let's name it tree inspection. We can add a description. You know, if you have multiple projects, you can orient yourself. You can actually collect point data, which will probably represent your trees or other green assets, but you can also collect line and polygon features as well, something that's really important for a lot of our customers as well. Okay, now this is where the magic happens, let's say like that. This is where you define your custom form and the design it the way you need it. Just like you use pen and paper, instead of doing that, you simply design it here. These are all the items that you have at your disposal that help you build that robust form. Okay, for example, let's use text field to input a site name. So they could maybe, my colleagues in the field can define an address or something like that. Then we have, let's say, site description. Then I'd like to use select list option, which enables me to, let's say, we'll create it like this. This enables me to predefine some of the values that my collectors in the field will be able to choose from. For example, I want them to go out there in the field and decide whether that specific location or tree needs pruning, watering, maybe it needs, I don't know, removal. Let's say removal. Add item, mulching, for example. So we can add as many items as we want. You might have noticed some of these options here. For example, required field is extremely important because it keeps the integrity of the data that comes into the system. This basically means that your field crews won't be able to send a submission unless they populate this field with a value. So you could imagine you have a lot of people in the field. You know, you want to make sure that the data that comes into the system is correct. With this kind of system, you'll make sure that it's 100% correct, because they'll be able to choose from predefined values and they'll need to send all that data. Okay, let's add a couple more items. And by the way, you can add as many items as you want. For example, let's use condition, radio buttons, essentially the same as select list, but in a different form. For example, we could say poor, fair, good. We can even use descriptions, type in a condition of an asset, for example. Okay, and then really important part is a photo. Now you can't take a photo with your pen and paper, but you can with your smartphone and tablets. Anyone has a smartphone and a tablet in their pocket, right? So naturally, you can also take photos. Recently, we've even added a new item, the signature, so you can actually sign the form and see who, whether you need to get a confirmation from a customer or a client. They could actually do it on the spot inside. And also, there are some system fields that are not collected by the collector, but by the app in the background. So you want to know who collected that information, but also if for some reason you want, I don't know, let's say export the data, we don't lock you in. You want to have that latitude, longitude, or something like that, then you can do it like that. Now you see some additional options, like for example, dependencies that can make your form even more advanced and cover all these additional use cases that you may have. No worries about, you know, we can help you. We have a pretty extensive tutorial manual on that, but we can also help you with building your own form. We'll be in touch, of course, and let you know about it. Okay, as soon as I'm ready, I can click create project. And before I get started, I can actually preview the form and make sure that all the items are in there. I can always go back to that form and add, change, remove items as I see fit, right? I can even, you know, for example, I have people in the field collecting data. They see something in the real world they can't find in the form. They will let me know. I will add that additional value, and they'll just tell them, okay, can you refresh the form? As soon as they do it, they will see that value. You can't do that with a pen and paper, right? Okay, as soon as I'm ready, I can open the project, and currently I have an empty map. I don't have any points on that. Before I start receiving these points from my field crews, I will need to share my project with my colleague. For that purpose, we've created an account called Sprucely, another funny name. Okay, and now this is extremely important. You want to make sure that anyone who has access to your private maps, that you can control who can do what, right? For example, I want to make sure that that person can collect new points, but I also want to enable that person to update existing points on a map. So you can have, let's say, collection crews, and then you can have maintenance crews who then click on existing points, lines, polygons on a map, and update that information with recent photos, with recent information, etc. As soon as I share my project with my field crews, I'm ready, or they are ready to start collecting the data according to the form that I've built. Antonia, can you help me with that part? Can we maybe see how this looks like on your smartphone?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm here for.
Excellent.
I'm your Sprucely for today. So can you just change the
I'll
presenting?
make you presenter. Yeah. Okay.
Let me know if you are seeing my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. So what I did, I actually downloaded the mobile data collection application. It's available on Android and iOS devices. So you are free to download the app. It will not ask you for any kind of payment details and things like that. You are more than welcome to download and test it out for yourself. So once the app is downloaded, you start by typing in a username that you have and signing in. Just give me a second. As soon as you log in, you are guided to the settings section, and you need to select the project that your manager shared with you. And I presume that this one is the one that Igor actually just now shared. Of course, next time that you log in, it will remember the project that you are currently in, so you don't need to do that every time. Additional options are also available here. You can probably see offline maps, quite important when you are going out in remote areas with no cellular network, and you can actually prepare your map for offline work to avoid any kind of issues. Once you do get back to the internet area, the data will automatically be sent through. Additional options available, like zooming into a location after you send the data, and regarding photo quality as well, and you can also choose the language that you would like this application to be in. Once you do select the project, you just switch to the form, and you can see here the survey that Igor prepared for me. So I can start by typing in all the necessary information. You can see on top of the screen as well an option of switching between GPS and pinpoint option. I'm currently in the building, so the accuracy is not too well. So I can actually switch to a pinpoint and select the location manually on a map if I like to. You can see that you are automatically zoomed into your location, but you can then later on navigate on it to get a more precise location. Once you do that, you just click on the accept button and you can populate the form. So let's type in information that Igor prepared.
It's worth noting that, for example, instead of typing, you can actually use an audio recording as well. So you can talk instead of typing.
Exactly. And for the photo field, you can see two options. You can either take your photos with the camera, or even upload the ones that you have previously in your camera. So let's take a few photos. One photo field is enough for taking multiple photos, so you don't need to have a couple of photo fields. You can have just one, and you can take as many photos as needed. And
It's a nice tree you have there.
thanks. You can sign it. Once you do that, all is done, and I just click on send. The data goes through queue, and if no problem, it will automatically push through. at that point, Igor should actually be able to see what I sent. So would you like me to send an additional photo, additional survey, or shall we just see what you received?
No, I think it's good if you switch back to me so we can see the point that you've collected. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So I, as Morgan Treeman, received a point from my colleague, Spruce Lee, and you can see it here on the map. If I, of course, click on it here in the data grid, I can actually get that information as well. I can pull up the photos and get this in real time. Now imagine having dozens, hundreds of people collecting data for you. You just sit in your office and you see these points pop up on the screen. This is what you can have in a matter of minutes. Design a form, share the form, and start receiving all that information that's relevant for you to make that decision that you need to make. Now, usually at this point, we get questions like, okay, this is great, absolutely want to use this, but can we maybe somehow maybe color these points differently according to its attributes? Can we add our own data? Can we do a lot more with it? And that's actually an introduction to our second segment, which we'd like to show you. But before we get started with that, I just want to remind you that you have a questions section. Please do ask them as we go. We will address them all at the end of the webinar, if that's okay. Okay, so let's see if we can answer these questions that you have regarding can we maybe classify the data by its attributes? Can we make more sense of it? What you can expect to have after a couple of months of using GIS Cloud. Okay, so now you can see that I'm logged in a different application. We call that Map Editor. You can see my project here, but also you can see my other projects. And for to show you how this can look like for you in a couple of months, we've created a map called Tree Maintenance and Workforce Coordination. That kind of gives you an idea about how our other customers are actually creating their own maps and setups for the job they need to do. Immediately you can see a lot of points. These are all real points locations of trees that we've collected in our area. So you can see we've made a bit more complex form with dependencies with a couple of photos, so I can review that information. Again, we have that signature field, and I have all the relevant information about whether the work has been done, etc. Also, here you have a layer list where that helps me understand what I'm currently seeing on a map. For example, I'm currently seeing maps trees that are in green. It means that all work has been done. But also when when you can see it like this, if it's green circle, that it means that it's low risk as well. So if I combine these two symbologies, it immediately gives me information about what I have and what I need to do next. Okay, so what I like to do is maybe can I filter the data just to make more sense out of the whole data as well, because this map essentially I use it to gather all the information about collected trees, to understand what job has been done, what's needed next, who's in charge of certain locations, and as I mentioned, different symbologies, labels, and colors help me with better understanding of the current states of the assets. And tools like filter, they'll show you, give you a help, they help you dive deeper into the data and the map. For example, okay, I would like to filter or show only the locations, for example, where work is, let's say, done. So as you can see, there are 127 trees on a map, but 97 are in that need to be done. So you can see on a map only those that need to be done, because none of the work has been done have showed on a map, and I filter all that information. So let's zoom in a bit more. What I'd like to do next is I would like to assign one of the locations to my best guy I have in the team, called obviously Spruce Lee. He's the most experienced guy, so I'd like to assign a certain location that's high risk, and none of the work has been done, I would like to assign that job or that tree to that colleague, right? So what I can do is I can click on that location, I can open the form again, and worker in charge, I can select spruce. And as soon as I click save, it means now that location will be assigned to my colleague spruce. If I click again on that information, it means, okay, now my colleague will know that this is location he needs to visit. In addition to that information, to make his job easier, I have also added information about, for example, where he can park his car, what roads he can take depending on the equipment he needs to take to do the job, what materials he will need. For example, all these blue areas are the location where he can maybe park his truck, or these green roads are locations where he can actually drive maybe heavy machinery. Also information about where he needs to enter the park, etc. But Antonia will expand on that a bit more. Antonia, can we go back to your screen?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to
Okay, I
get
will
that.
make you a presenter again.
Okay, let me know if you're seeing my mobile screen again.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we go back to the mobile data collection application, and you can see the system currently is remembering my latest entries, but now I would like to switch to something differently. Now we are not working on a project, but we are working on maps and layers. So I would just like to select the map that Igor wanted me to go and inspect. So I do select this map, and immediately, without selecting the layers at all, I go to the map. So at this moment in time, I'm seeing the entire map. I'm seeing the view like Igor set it up for me, or Morgan, let's say it like that. I would like to know what work I need to do. So for me to be able to do that, I would like to search, and I would like to search through my name. I'm just seeing work done. Have we inspected it already?
Maybe in some previous call. But if you click on one of the points, you can actually show the features that help you navigate to the location, etc.
Yeah, we actually have it selected here. Here it is. So the system actually showed me that. So once we do have this location pinned on a map, what I can actually do is, since I'm not on the site, I have the option of navigating to that feature, and I can see the suggested routes. Of course, you can change to vehicle because I'm working with a heavy machinery and I need to drive to that location, and I'm seeing the best route to go to that site. Once I do navigate to that, I can go back to the map screen and actually do my work. Once I do that, I'm able to make the changes, and I can update what I did through the entire survey, and I can switch that the work is done. Once I do that, I just accept the edits. The data automatically goes through queue. Again, all the updates will synchronize on Igor's end as well. So let's see if that's really the case. Let's try to switch the screens once more.
Yeah, can you make me a presenter?
Just a second.
And perfect, just like you said, as soon as you finish part of the job, it immediately changed the color to green. If you remember, it was red, right? Because none of the work has been done. As soon as the worker spruce did its work, done all. And this, with only with this basic information, with this kind of basic setup, you can actually understand your process better, coordinate better, and plan and schedule better, something that we've already mentioned our customers do. This is just a really simple example of what can be done with the real data that you have. And of course, we can help you along the way. Again, if you have any questions regarding this, please do ask them in the questions tab, but we will definitely be in touch with all of you after the webinar as well. Okay, let's take a couple more minutes just to go over the third segment, the third part of the whole solution. How can this actually become more advanced, even more complex, right? You have to understand, as I mentioned in the beginning, that we initially started as a mapping technology in the cloud, and as such we had to have had a support for all different formats, data formats and databases. So this kind of shows you that all the data that has been collected is now overlaid on top of some additional data sets like WMS, WFS, and all these OGC standards. Plus, we've added some data from different databases, such as database, external databases that you can connect, Oracle database. So whatever you have, we can probably consume it, not just vector, but also raster data. I'm getting more technical here because this is more advanced and complex, and a lot of, if you remember, a lot of companies that do have their own proprietary technology, they probably do have their own data silos, and we can tap into that as well. So this is the key part of that solution, that you can integrate with anything. This map particularly, it shows you traffic intensity at certain locations, and we can use that information, for example, to understand how trees are impacting the area, surrounding area around the traffic, or maybe even use it for planning purposes. Okay, we have trees at this location. Can we plan maybe future trees at the sites where they have more traffic to reduce emissions, for example? So things like that. You can even have some hot spots, for example, to understand the density of trees at certain location. Okay, we understand this is a park. It has a lot of trees, but maybe here in the outskirts we don't have that many trees, so we maybe need to budget and plan for that as well, right? So we can even go even deeper and analyze all that information. So like I said, it can become really complex and advanced if you want it to be, because we do support all data formats. Even if you have, I don't know, imagery data, you want to overlay your own raster imagery that you have, we can do that. You can use the system to create new points, lines, and polygons according to those imageries that you have. So it can become really advanced, and we can help you along the way, right? Another important part of the solution that we mentioned that we'll show you today is a custom application that you can use for customers who can then access the data and see what you've been working on, and maybe generate reports and make more sense out of the data, and you can definitely enable them in that way. Okay, let me log in with my Morgan Freeman account again, and you can immediately see the difference between the previous applications that we showed you. Immediately, your customers can then be greeted with your company logo, all the information about your company, what you do, and contact information. Of course, everything that you see is can be completely custom and according to your requirements. So as soon as they log in, of course, everything's private. Each of your clients, customers can have their own account. So they could maybe filter the data. You can see the difference between that filter and the one that we showed you earlier. So this is, let's say, a more intuitive one for people that maybe are not in mapping. So they could maybe filter the data according to the attributes that you've defined. Then after that, they could maybe click on some features to get that information and see what you're actually working on, what is the status of certain assets that they own, etc. So they could review all that information in one place. Another huge part of that product is the ability to generate reports according to the custom templates that you have. We've done that for the purpose of this webinar, but everything you see here can be completely custom. Your logos, your colors, all the attributes, map section, all the photos, everything can be according to your needs as well. And of course, you can generate these reports as you please. You can also generate summary reports for the whole data set if you need to. and in this way enable your customers to do more with the data that you provide in the web. Also, something we mentioned is you can enable your customers to maybe provide you with some additional work. So actually, they could maybe add a job for you to let's say, okay, they need to remove something. Of course, they could upload photos. So it's a really high priority. First and last name, name and surname, like this. Surname. We have phone number, email address, etc. So you can get this report from your customers directly, and they can report these jobs. As soon as they do that, you will see a new job appear on the map. You can go back to the map and click on it to see and maybe get in touch with your customer to understand more about it. Or they could, give you all that information through that form. Also, for example, if they want to provide you with some additional information about, when they can, when you can actually work on that site, are there any additional information like restrictions or permits? They could say, okay, we can create a polygon in which you say, okay, you can preferred work is between these times. Additional information, please pay attention to the statutes on the property, like that. Zone name, section 1, if they know what they're talking about, etc. So these are the, you can provide your clients with additional tools so they could ease your work and help you achieve what you need to do. This is only visible to you, so you can then see what's actually happening and what can then be done. And essentially, this is it. It's a really powerful application that helps you communicate with your customers better and enables your customers to do and understand what you do in a, let's say, proper way. And like I said before, this application actually helped a lot of companies to win new deals and tenders, and it's slowly becoming a new standard in the industry. Okay, I think the example that you just saw kind of gives you motivation to at least test it, to at least give it a try to see how this works for you guys. And what's something that we mentioned, there are other products out there. So Antonia, can you share more insight on why would even someone go with GIS Cloud, specifically GIS Cloud?
Yeah, definitely. So if what you saw, it's not enough to persuade you to explore GIS Cloud further. Just a quick recap. Our solutions are really easy to use. They are designed for non-GIS personnel. You can easily switch from your current solution that you are using in less than 2 hours. Of course, you also have our support team at your disposal to help you with any questions you might have. And if that wasn't enough, we also are hosting education courses monthly that can help you go in depth regarding available tools and functionalities. Of course, if you do want to keep some of your current solution and build upon it, GIS Cloud also offers integration that will help you to improve what you currently have and bring it to the next level. With the numerous options available that will help you to design that customized solution tailored specifically for your needs, you will be certain that you are getting the most out of the solution and you can fully focus on your work. And for the last but not the least, GIS Cloud is really cost effective. It gives you the option to pay for what you use and for when you need to use it. We have volume and time period discounts in place, and we have no hidden costs. And you can actually plan and predict the cost for any project that you're working on. So what else is left to say, but let's get to work.
Yeah, that's a good good ending. Yeah, absolutely. We're ready to go. I think something that you mentioned kind of definitely resonates with all this is, why we see still companies that don't use anything or still use paper, because you are really busy. You have a lot of things on your hands that you need to do, and it definitely costs you not money but time to adopt something like this, and we understand that absolutely. So I think with that we can help you. That's why we feel like 2 hours is enough for you guys to fully adopt a solution and give you value, back. So we're confident in that, and that's why we had a premium trial. We can help you along the way. Just create an account, see how this goes for you guys, and we're confident that we'll help you just like we did with hundreds of other vegetation management companies throughout the past. Okay, I think we're ready for some questions.
Yeah, I already pulled that up. So a lot of you guys are actually asking, will there be a recording and will it be sent to you guys? So yeah, the answer is definitely yes. We do record our webinars and we will be happy to send them out to you so you can revisit and follow the steps that we just showed you.
Yeah.
Additional question maybe, Igor, for you. Is there a limit number of field users?
Absolutely great question. No limits. You can have as many people as you want collecting data for you in the field. There aren't any limits in the number of forms and items that you have in the form, so no limits on that.
Okay, great. Additional question, can we add a WFS, WMS like NASA fire alerts?
Absolutely. We support those formats. If you have access to those, absolutely try it out. And you can see, I think we have another question. Can we still use to connect WFS server in QGIS? Recently, we've actually released a completely new feature that enables you to have all the data in GIS Cloud and then consume that data as a WFS in other systems. Also another great example of how we integrate with other systems. We'll be in touch with you who has that question to expand on that.
Okay. Yeah, we have one user who is actually experiencing issues. So please do send us the email with the issue that you are receiving to our premium support. We are here to help you to troubleshoot it. So yeah, it's premiumsupport@giscloud.com. So please do report any kind of issues. If you are using GIS Cloud, we are always eager to resolve them for you. Additional question, I would like to know what kind of tools can I use for my research? I'm a pre-doctorate researcher and I would like to share all my geospatial data. What can I use to do that? Thanks a lot. So GIS Cloud, yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You've been working with a lot of nonprofits as well, so Antonia.
Yeah, so yeah, GIS Cloud in general, it's not just for collecting new data from the field. We also do have, like you saw, map editor, which supports all various format types. Since we are a cloud-based solution, we do support everything from raster shapefiles, CSVs, mapping for vector files, sky's the limit, as well as for the raster imagery. So any kind of spatial data that you are working with, you can upload and work with within the map editor application. And of course, then later on share it with other users through our map viewer application that we can actually show you on a scheduled demo if you are interested in that. Okay.
We have another question. Are there plans for a licensing model for concurrent use for several sporadic users? You can actually float your licenses around. That's the beauty of the system, is that you purchase only what you need and then assign these subscriptions to users that use it, right? So you can float these licenses around and you only pay for what you use. That's the beauty of the system. You don't have to pay a fortune to have a tool like this one. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah. One additional question is, can I take more pictures? Yeah, like we showed you during the presentation, you can have one photo field set up for your project and you can take multiple photos for that one field. You don't need to know in advance how many pictures you will be taking. You can take multiple photos. Okay?
Yep.
Next question, Igor, can we add raster data as base map?
Absolutely, yeah. So like I said, we can support all these different types of data formats that you have, raster, vector, OGC standards, whatever you have, just send it to us and we'll make it work. That's what we do. Okay, we have another question. Can we try this out? Absolutely, yeah. So it's a premium trial, 14-day premium trial. Just created an account. If you need any help during that period, we can offer that assistance. Something Antonia mentioned is that we do offer educational courses specifically built for field crews, but also for people in the field. So these are separate courses that are free and open to all our premium customers. So it's not just about you, buying a subscription. We make sure that you get the value out of the product. We have a lot more questions, but I think we should definitely wrap this up. We'll be in touch with all of you asking these questions because we kind of thought, let's make it a 45-minute webinar. We can exceed that by 5 minutes. We don't want to take too much of your time, guys. Any last words, Antonia?
I think that we covered everything, and I look forward to hearing from you guys with additional questions and helping you out with your setup and helping you out with your specific needs regarding GIS Cloud. And let's see if we can work together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. So we're looking forward to understanding your needs better, addressing your challenges, and we're confident that we can help you get that value in no time. Let's say like that. We'll definitely be in touch with every single one of you. So hopefully we can schedule something. Thank you, Antonia, for the lovely demo, for the great presentation. Yeah, no worries. We'll be in touch, guys. Thank you again. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.